Okay, today was indeed a interesting day. Today was we learned some marketing strategies. We learned how important it is to understand where you came from to basically where you're going. Being an employee to an entrepreneur, you have to think differently. When you're in charge of other people and running a business, you cannot use the same mindset that you used before. And if you have technicians in the shop, and let's just say you're 1,000% better than those technicians in the shop, it's not your show anymore. It's theirs. You got to learn to turn that stuff off, because now you're no longer a tech. As much as you want, unless they come out and ask for your help, you get no place bothering them, getting involved in what's going on unless it's a safety issue. And if they need to make mistakes, let them make the mistakes. And the reason for this is, how many of you have ever, like, when you've learned something in your life, what is the times that, like, you've learned the most? You've learned, like, when you've come out of a situation, you've learned the best. And it isn't when somebody has done it for you, or if somebody has made it easy for you. It's when you've failed. Your failures are actually what teach you the most in life. And allowing a technician to fail whenever they're making a mistake, it's temporary. It's a temporary fix unless it's something major, going back to a safety issue where it's going to cost, like, if it's a $300 control arm, well, guess what? It's an expensive learn on their part, but if you're set up right as a shop, they're going to learn. The other day we had a mechanic working on a Chrysler 300, and he went to go pry on the rear suspension of the vehicle, and he was pulling a little too hard, and he snapped the pot metal type control arm with the big giant bar that he was prying on to maneuver it. And now he knows to never do that again, because that was something that was a failure on his part, and he learned from that. And yes, we are eating the bill, and we were able to find it very quick, so it did not inconvenience the customer. But these failures, most people learn from these failures in life, and they get the most out of it. Most of your learning points in your life are going to be from failures in your life, and that's where you retain and learn the most. That's how you learn not to do it again, and how to fix the problem if it ever arises in the future. Some of the other things were different levels of, basically, it's called levels. It's where you are at in your business, your sales, like gross profit per hour, or all stuff. Some of the stuff from last night kind of spill over in today. And then learning about who you are, basically. Learning about where you came from and where you want to be, and envisioning yourself as that person. If you're a person that has been beat up and knocked down over and over again your entire life, and you have always felt bad about yourself and felt like you've been dealt the dirty cards all the time, and your self-esteem is low, and your image and stuff of yourself is low, and you don't think very highly of yourself, if you always continue to focus on that, the bad things in your life, or who you, this is who you your embodiment is, you think this is who you are, you're always going to be a failure. You have to picture yourself as the image, the person that you want to be, and hold yourself in that regard, and then drive yourself to the position of trying to be that. Because ultimately, that's who you are. That's who you feel like that's who you want to be, and you're trying to get there, you just don't know how to do it. So even in business, it's the same way. If you're typically a person that takes abuse from the customers and employees and stuff all the time, and you don't ever give yourself credit for doing the hard job that you're doing, you fall into this pattern of thinking that this is who you are, and this is what you have to take, and this is how your life is, and then you just accept it. And that's not it. It's not who any of us are. We don't want to be used and abused by people and talked down to and taken advantage of. It's a matter of focusing on where you want your business to go. If you have a partner, sharing that goal with them, coming up with the common denominators, and driving yourself in a direction where you need to get there. You don't need to be used. You don't need to be abused. You don't need to be less than what you want to be, or who you are, what you are in that in that envision section of your company and yourself. And people's mindset is typically where their failure's at. It's not the fact that they're a failure, because people can be, even some of the worst people can be really bright, decent people. It's their mind has said, something has happened to me at some time in my life that makes me feel this way, so this must be how it is or how I am. And if we could get over ourselves and our egos and stuff like that, we could actually see that your life doesn't have to be that way. You are literally making your life that way. You are your own worst enemy in business, in your personal lives, in your relationship lives. If you can focus on where you want to go with it and drive yourself in that direction, and stop trying to hold yourself in the regard of you're less than this, and start thinking, this is where I want to be. I was talking about the gain and the gap last night, and there were some scenarios of basically the scenario is, are you always going to tell yourself this is where the gain and then the gap? There's a gap in between what you've gained and where you want to be. Are you always going to try to live in that gap and never achieve? Or are you going to look at your life and say, look, I came from here and now I've gained this much and I want to be here. What can I do myself to drive myself in that direction to gain that, rather than living in that gap? I need to focus on how I can gain and how I can get there and how I can drive my company and my employees there. If you want to make more money as a business, then you have to put out more money for your employees. So you want an ATEC, but you want to pay him $25 an hour, it ain't going to work. You can't do that. It doesn't work that way. So when you live in the mindset that I want to be successful in life, I know I need to spend money to get there, and sometimes I have to spend more money than what I can afford to get there, and you take that chance and you find that ATEC that you're going to pay $40 an hour, $50 an hour for, he's going to make you money. He's going to make you money. It's going to happen. No matter what, the guy's going to make you money, because that's his qualification as an ATEC. He's good at diagnostics. He's good at getting the work done, directing the shop, whatever it may be that you're using him for. So don't be scared to do that, because it'll come. But it's also the same in relationships and stuff as well. If you have a goal and you're trying to achieve that goal, you can focus your energy in your life around putting yourself in a position where you can drive to achieve that goal. It's the same way. It's all mindset related. There was a guy who stood up in the class, and we're talking about social media and how social media can be a really good driven tool. And my business coach was the actual teacher of the class. And he brought up YouTube and social media and stuff and says it can be super powerful if you use it correctly. Does anybody here, aside from Rich, do anything with social media? Some of the guys were like, yeah, we post some stuff on TikTok here or there, but not very much. And everybody else in the class, there was like 40 people in the class. 35, 40 people in the class. Just like one guy, other than me. He said, well, Rich is a pro. He does this stuff all the time. It really does bring a lot of business in. I've seen the numbers and stuff from where they were at and where they are now. And if you want to talk a little bit about it. And well, the other guy, before I could say anything, he made a comment, and he said, oh yeah, but YouTube just takes so much time, 4 hours of editing. I'm 9 minutes into this video right now, and I'm not going to edit a single thing out of this video. I'm going to compress it in an editing file, and then I'm going to load it. How long did that take me to put this video online? 30 seconds longer than what this video, what it ends? Did it really take that long? No, it didn't. So I had to stand up and speak up, and I said, see, that's the mindset that causes you business owners to fail with marketing and social media. If every single one of you thought the same way, you'd never have that other leg of how you can develop and grow your company, because you don't want to take a chance. It doesn't take 4 hours of editing. I built 90,000 plus followers on a $1,300 cell phone with a $5 or a $50 a year app. I've never got on a computer and did 4 hours of editing, let alone more than 20 minutes of editing. I'm not an editing person. and I'm very successful at what I do. I could take different clips of a car repair. If I was the guy at your shop, you pay me $30, $40 an hour to be your PR, your social media guy, and I'd work every second of that $30 to $40 an hour to be your PR guy, and I'd grow your company just by social media alone if that was my sole job. Because I know what I'm doing. I could get the videos out there on multiple different platforms. That would be my only job. If you hired somebody, let's say a loop tech or a semi-skilled tech, something like that, somebody that was semi-good with electronics, videoing, stuff like that, had an imagination, literally throughout the day when you guys pulled different jobs in, you wanted to talk about something with the company, he could do like little 45-second, 1-minute clips and kind of put them together at the end of the day, and you'd have like a 6 to 7 minute video. It could be a day in the life of your business or something like that, showing all the different things that you did with minimal to no editing at all. Load it up on KindMaster, compress it, put it right on YouTube. You got a 7-minute, 6-minute video of something that happened in the shop or something cool, some project or something you did. It doesn't take 4 hours of editing. You just haven't been shown the right way to do it, and you're still stuck in the mindset that 4 hours that you've done a couple times is exactly what it is, and that's not what it is. That's why we talk about not being stuck in that mindset of this is the beat down, wore out, tired person that you are, when you could be so much more than that. You just have to get out of your own head. You have to stop seeing yourself as that image and see yourself as much more. And then you can gain in life. You can gain in your business, your relationships, anything. That was the message. And that's my takeaway from it. That's how I seen it. So, that was day 2 of training down, and it was a long day, and I head back home tomorrow. I hope some of you have taken something away from this video. Maybe you look at things differently. Unfortunately, we had to let another guy go today. He hasn't showed up to work the last 2 days, and then a couple months ago, he stopped showing up for an entire month, and I had to have the conversation that we can no longer keep him employed, especially no call, no shows. It's not going to work. Bunch of personal things happen at his home, and I wish him the best. I had a very nice, short, small conversation with. That's just not what the company represents, and we can't have that for our customers and our business, and we're gonna have to part ways. Now, if you would have taken me 7 or 8 months ago coming into this role, I would have been like angry and upset and everything else, and probably not said the right stuff. But I've been developing my communication skills, my management skills, my owner skills, stuff like that, and I've been putting that into practice so I can do better in my life in general. And it's working. I don't get upset or angry with employees or any of that, and I just communicate calmly and get my message across, and that's it. Anyway, once you have a boss that says this is how it is, that's just how it is. There's no nudging it or anything, especially with as lenient as I am and as nice as I am to my guys. Why would somebody try to do stuff like that? It's because they have some serious issues going on that they got to work out, but they can't do it while they're working for somebody and then take the business down or tear the business apart. You can't do it. You can't rely on somebody. You can't keep them. That's just how it is. No matter what's going on in their personal life, you just can't do it. If you can't coach them up and you can't change them, and they say that they just want you to understand that that's how their life is, well, that's not an answer. Y'all have a great night. Be blessed. I hope you took something away from this video. I'll see you tomorrow.